Hey, what's up guys? My name is Sal, and this is another expedition log. On today's episode, we're going to revisit the location that kicked off the entire expedition log series. I'm joined by my oldest friend Fritz, who is incredibly excited to see a dead mall after I've been speaking so much about them. Fermenting in the south wing of Security Square Mall in Woodlawn, Maryland is Seoul Plaza. The direct area around the Security Square Mall is incredibly run down. In the same parking lot that's plagued by potholes and craters, there's two abandoned restaurants, an IHOP and a Bennigan's. And right across the street, a Best Buy actually just shut down recently, and it's now a storage place. There's a ton of crime in the area, and the reason the Security Square Mall seems to be doing well is because the bus takes you right through the parking lot. Now, when I first filmed this place, and I first produced that pilot episode, not only was I not happy with the shakiness and the overall quality that the GoPro produced while I was walking through Seoul Plaza, but I had an upper respiratory cold, and my sinuses were a mess, and it just sounded terrible. But I'd like to take another look at Seoul Plaza with my new eyes. Using the experience that I've gained so far in producing the Expedition Log series, I wanted to do it justice. I wanted to revisit this place and to right the wrongs of my own past. Gross. You want a cigarette?
Hello.
Not those. So come take a walk with me in Seoul Plaza. I'd also like to make good on my promise that I made to you all in the pilot, and we'll be taking a tour through Seoul Spa, the bathhouse on the second floor. But first, a word from our sponsor, Magdaleni's Meatballs, and their spokesperson, Jack Somack, who ate too many spicy meatballs that director Howard Zieff made a commercial in the late 60s, sponsoring Alka-Seltzer.
Mamma mia, that's some species.
Cut. Spicy meatballs, Jack. Sorry.
Take 28.
Out, Tony, and action.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
Cut. What was the matter with that? The accent. Cut. Cut.
Micey, ballsy.
Cut.
Take 59.
And action. Jack.
Sometimes you eat more than you should. And when it's spicy besides, Mamma Mia, do you need Alka-Seltzer? Alka-Seltzer can help unstuff you, relieve the acid indigestion, and help make you your old self again.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
Cut. Okay. Let's break for lunch.
So here we are, back in Seoul Plaza, 9 months after the Expedition Log series debuted.
What is that?
This is the third piece that I've done on the entire project of Seoul Plaza. The first was the debut episode of the Expedition Log series, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below, along with a companion piece, which was the origin tale of how the Choi brothers came upon the idea to create Seoul Plaza, and what they built to show that they were capable of building a mall within a mall. That was the Seoul Plaza in Annandale. That will also be in the link below. It's actually valid. But because I can't stay away from the history of these places, I'd like to just go over exactly what happened one more time. It's a rotary phone.
Holy shit.
Oh my god, that's awesome. The conception of Seoul Plaza began all the way back in 1977 in Annandale, Virginia, when the Markham East Center was formally dedicated. This was a small shopping center, and it had a few storefronts, underwent some renovations in 1989, but then in 1999, the Choi brothers, Sam and Steve, they purchased the Markham East Center for $5 million. That same year, they renovated and transformed Markham East into Seoul Plaza. Now, the Seoul Plaza down in Annandale, it looks like a corporate office building from the outside and from the inside. However, it has a lot of the same businesses that at one point resided within the Seoul Plaza here in Security Square. Now, the difference being Seoul Plaza in Security Square, this is a huge space, a big indoor space. Whereas the one down in Annandale, it's compact, the rent's a lot cheaper, and it was a lot easier to maintain, which is why the occupancy there is still pretty good, even to this day. Now, Seoul Plaza at Security Square, this used to be a JCPenney. When the JCPenney was built in 1979, the original purchase price for the building was only $25,000. Over the years, JCPenney's would suffer, and in 2001, they shuttered. Then in 2003, Sam and Steve Choi bought this space for $2.2 million. They filled it with tons of eclectic stores and international markets. There was an international food store, there was a banquet hall, there were some restaurants. It was actually a pretty awesome space, and they were catering to an international community, especially the Korean community in Ellicott City, which is just a short trip up the Beltway from Security Square. But with direct access for the bus lines that go right through the parking lot of Security Square, traffic was actually pretty awesome here. Seven years after they built the place, they sold it for $13.5 million in 2010. At that point, the space started to suffer pretty badly. It was suffering at the point that they sold it, but from that point on, it started to really deteriorate. It wasn't very well maintained, and most of the storefronts would shutter. The last recorded sale price for this property was in 2013, and it was only $3 million. So the Choi brothers, they bought it for $2.2 million in 2003. They sold it for $13.5 million, and then it was bought again for $3 million. That's awesome. Even the first time that I came here, 9 months ago, I saw that this dance studio was here, but it was closed when I got there. Yeah. Oh, this is the thing you saw. Go in, you go in first. However, it was bumping the night that Fritz and I went, and I did some asking around, and I asked a few of my friends what this place was. Now, they do offer dance instruction, and when Fritz and I asked, hey, can we get a lesson, they said you have to bring your own teacher. When I asked my other friends what that place was about, they said that the older community actually meets there as like a singles mixer. And sometimes they leave together. That's great for them. I think it's awesome that they have a place to meet, and it looks really classy. What is going on down there? Wonder what happens in that freight elevator. Don't. Aside from the restaurant and the couple of salons that are downstairs, the main business that draws revenue for Seoul Plaza is the Seoul Spa. Fritz and I decided to try our luck. We walked in with our heads held high, and we were looking for the person that ran the place. So we're going to try and get a tour, because I really want to show you guys what's going on inside here. This is about as much as we saw in the first trip that I took out to Seoul Plaza 9 months ago.
Do you know we are closing at 10?
Oh, really?
It's too late to enter.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay.
Oh. We actually were going to come back tomorrow. We just wanted to see it before we came
9
in.
a.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, I see. I see.
Is there a way to look at the facility?
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't.
No?
We don't
No.
do tour.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Do you
You can
guys
take
have
the
some sort of...
flyer.
Yeah, flyer with it?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
One of these, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
So she told us that they don't do tours and that their hours are 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. So we grabbed a pamphlet and we got out.
If you come here regularly after work, definitely makes it worth
Seoul Plaza is an awesome place. And if it survived this long in this condition with just rundown couches hanging out in the middle there, I don't see a reason why it should be closing anytime soon. However, there's a church that is now occupying the center of the space, and they've closed off mall access. At least that's what the security guard told me when I confronted them. This door was just open. There was no chains on it, and these cards were all over the place, and it looks like this lady will do your taxes for you. The tax queen. There were all these pieces of hair all over the place. It was pretty gross. But I'm glad that I got to see this place again and get some better footage of it for you guys. I decided to go back by myself. I really needed to get inside that spa. So I came back a few weeks after Fritz left back on tour, and I was greeted by the security guard who saw me and just didn't say a thing. which is super cool. I love when security guards are cool like that. And there were a few developments. There is now this giant hole in the floor that I found. And as you're walking around the floor, you can feel it buckling underneath. It's like the floor is soft.
Oh, hell no. It's just a giant hole.
And when I saw this hole, I could only imagine that there were more like this underneath the floor, and that at any moment, the floor would just give out and you'd fall down this hole just to be lost forever. But that's Seoul Plaza for you. That's part of its charm. And then the escalator was shut down. I don't know why it said do not enter. I mean, I walked down it with Fritz a couple weeks before this, and it's not like they shut them down. They weren't running for years. But aside from that, I finally got up the courage and just said, you know what, I'm going for it. Paid the $30, and I went inside Seoul Spa with my camera, so you guys can see.
Do you know we are closing at 10 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
Have
wondering.
you been here before?
No. And
Never?
I've always been curious.
Have you ever used Korean spa before?
Not a Korean spot, but over in Budapest.
Another Korean spa, you know how to use it, right?
More or less.
Okay, good. Okay. And we are closing at 10 p.m.
Okay. I'll probably just stay about a half an hour today.
Okay, $33 for admission. May I check your ID?
Sure. Here you go.
Okay. Sign and phone number.
Okay. Thank you.
So we're finally at Seoul Spa. After 9 months of curiosity stewing in the back of my head, I finally got my first look at what this place is all about. When I went to the locker room, the first thing that I saw was just a bunch of naked dudes, and that was on my left, so I tried very hard to keep that out of frame. I really don't know what I expected though. It's a bathhouse. And of course they expect you to not wear clothes in the pool section. And my experience was similar when I was in Budapest. I went to a bathhouse there. And while at Seoul Spa, they give you that shirt that says SeoulSpaUSA.com and a pair of shorts. When I was in Budapest, they give you a string that you tied around your waist and a square piece of cloth that you dangled in front of you to cover up the sensitive material. I actually have a film of my experience in Budapest. Back in 2006, I went backpacking around Europe after playing a few concerts at the Terra concentration camp in the Czech Republic, celebrating the survivors of the Holocaust. I filmed my entire experience around the continent, and when I came back, I produced a series of videos about this experience with my footage. So one could say that the expedition log started back in 2006, or that it planted the seeds for this current iteration. Maybe I'll release that footage one day, or do a private screening or something. Keep an eye on Patreon and possibly Twitter for any developments around Expedition Log Series 2006. Now, of course, there were signs saying that you couldn't have cell phones in the pool room, which I get for liability reasons. They don't want you to drop it in the pool and claim that it's their fault. But there's also signs saying that you couldn't wear clothes. Again, this is to be expected. So I went right for the empty sauna on the left so I can have a moment to collect my thoughts and just to compose myself before I went and saw the rest of the place.
It's so hot. I mean, it's a sauna. I get that it's hot, but this is hot. So I want to thank you guys for 5,000 subscribers. Actually, at this point, I think we're almost near 6,000. But it's been awesome. It's been such a fun time making all of these expedition logs, and there's so many more to come. But I just want to thank you again and show you that I'm willing to go the distance to get the footage. And I think it's like 5,000 degrees in here right now, but I wanted to show you guys Seoul Spa, just finally, so somebody can see it. So check this out.
While I felt comfortable filming in the sauna, the actual pool room, it was really sketchy because there were signs saying that you couldn't wear clothes in the pool and that you had to shower before you went into the pool. Not only did I feel uncomfortable because I was fully clothed and because there were signs saying that you couldn't bring cell phones into the pool room, but naked men were entering and exiting the room at a rapid pace. So I was constantly trying to dodge them so you didn't see that. So that's really all the footage I can get of that place. But here we are now in the main common room of Seoul Spa. And this is what connects all of the smaller rooms, which are all a few saunas and the cold and ice room, which is super cool. So we'll take a look at a few of these rooms here. So this is the jewel room, and it's not very hot. There's definitely a sauna element back there, but there's these stones on the wall, and the magic is sort of lost because there's a bunch of stones missing from the wall, and there's these skanky carpets or rugs or mats or whatever you want to call them, and it's sort of weird. I think this is the room to prep you for the ice room. That's where we're going next. You gotta see this, this is crazy. So this is the cold room, and it's 37 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't very cold. I could probably stay in here for a good long time. However, right here is the ice room. The ice room is negative 23 Fahrenheit. Let's see how cold it is in there. So this is the ice room. It's not as cold as I thought it would be. My body's actually okay. It feels pretty comfortable, but my feet are dying because there's no, I can't wear shoes. So if it wasn't for the no shoes policy, which I get, it's a spa, I could probably stay in here for a pretty long time, but my feet are dying right now. And this place is killing my feet. So this is the ice room, and I'm gonna go see what other rooms they have here, and we'll see what this place has in store. The ice room wasn't terribly cold, actually. It did say that it was in the negative 20s Fahrenheit, but I don't really believe that. There was a lot of condensation on the ceiling, and the ceilings and the walls, they look pretty rotted out. It's definitely just a freezer that they put seats in with carpet. If you look on Yelp, you can see pictures of that room too, and the ice isn't nearly as bad on the seats as it is there. So that was definitely just a freezer and a refrigerator. Okay, so this is the Terra Cotta room, and
It's a lot hotter than the Jewel room. As you can see, I'm sweating right now. And I came here directly from the ice room. It's another weird place. It's a small-ish room. It's got what I think is terracotta as grout holding up a bunch of stones on the wall, and the same mats on the ground that are kind of skanky. I can't imagine that they've ever changed these. This room has 2 saunas, and again, it's pretty hot, and I'm probably gonna go right from here back to the ice room just to cool off, so my phone can cool off too. It keeps warning me that it's too hot, I need to cool down. But so far this place is pretty cool. I might even come back here.
Now that this is the second time I've been inside the cold and ice rooms, it was a lot colder this time. And I think that's because I was in the sauna directly before I came in here. So obviously my body temperature was a lot higher and not at room temperature. So I don't know if that's the way the room is meant to be used, but my experience was enhanced this second time because of the fact that I was in the sauna. The entire place just has this grungy feel to it. I mean, look at these chairs. Out of order massage chair that you can rent for $3 for 10 minutes, and just a couple of IKEA chairs. Overall, the place is clean on the outside, but when you get inside the specific rooms, there's just something about it that just seems sketchy.
This is the sleeping room, and there's nobody in here, which is why I came in, but it's weird. There's like gotta be some sort of sound cancellation thing happening because it's so bloody quiet, and the minute you go outside, the sound hits you. But there's 12 beds in here, it's 12 pads with little brick-sized pillows, and you can just take a nap. It's wild, this is crazy.
So as it happens, Seoul Spa has 3 common saunas, the cold and ice room, a sleeping room, and I do believe that there's a gender-restricted pool room within each of the locker rooms. Take this charcoal room, for instance. It looks exactly like the other rooms, and I think the only difference is A, the different stones that they use on the walls, and B, it's just a little hotter or cooler depending on which room you're in. They don't actually do some sort of thing when you walk into them. Right in front of the door, they list the health benefits of each individual room, and I'm gonna call BS on that. They're just dry sauna rooms that have different types of stones on the walls. But it's definitely relaxing. Once you can get over the nasty carpets and the strange smell that happens in there, it's actually pretty relaxing. Down this hallway are all of the private massage rooms. So I guess if you book a massage at this place, this is where it happens. And at the very end, it looks like this is a communal massage room, or there's a bunch of beds. It's kind of dark and I didn't want to put the light on. There were multiple massage beds in there. And this is the laundry room, so I know that the clothes that they gave me were clean. The place has some pretty nice facilities, except it's just sketchy. I mean, the freezer in the cold room, the stones falling off the wall in the saunas, but this seems like a nice place to go. Although 30 bucks, I don't know if that's expensive or cheap for something like this. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. Maybe you've had experience at a bathhouse. The thing that blows my mind is that this place is inside of a dead mall. It's not like a standalone establishment. This place is keeping Seoul Plaza alive. And there were people coming in and out, so there were people that were paying to come to this place. I don't know if they were the people that were paying for yearly subscriptions or something like that, but there was definitely traffic. And I don't know, maybe I'd go back again. It wasn't that bad. I would even try the restaurant. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you all so much for watching this video, and there's so much more content coming, but I'm really excited to have been able to bring this place to you again in a higher quality so that you could see exactly what this place is all about. I also want to thank you all for helping the channel grow to 6,000 subscribers. This is still part of the 5,000 subscriber special. I'm trying to keep up with all of this, and there's still a couple more parts to come, but we've just hit 6,000. Well, I think actually it's around 6,200 at this point. So thank you guys so much. And I promise that there's so much more to come. And I have a lot more expeditions that I'd like to show you. So stay tuned. I'd like to thank my very first 4 patrons, Glenn, Mark, Marty and Sarah, and Ryan. Thank you guys so much for becoming patrons and elite explorers of Quite Studios. You guys positively rock, and you're pushing me and inspiring me to get out there and explore and to find more awesome places to bring to you. You can find a link to my Patreon in the description below. Any support that I gain through Patreon only goes to creating the Expedition Log series. It just helps me to go out on expedition more frequently so I can bring you guys more solid content. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, join the Discord server. It's very easy, the links are all below. You just have to install the app on your phone or on your desktop and just click the link, tap the link, and it'll open the app once you install it. And you can follow the Expedition live, you can join the chat. It's a really fun place to get to know people. We have a bunch of people from the Dead Malls community on there. There's Jack Thomas from deadmalls.com. There's Nick DeMeo from the Caldor Rainbow, Doomy Grunt, you know his channel. I'll put that below actually. He runs a great channel. We've got Faded Commerce, Unicom, we've got Neko Arc. A lot of people that are really helping to push this forward and to bring all these places to you. So thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to show you guys the next one, which should be out relatively soon, and I'm gonna try and pump that out quickly for y'all. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care.